G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on the brand new expansion for Age of Empires 4 and boy oh boy do we have a fun one for you today. This is the first mirror match we're going to see between the Byzantines. So without further ado, let's get to introducing our players for today. Spawning in on the west side of the map in the color green, playing as the Byzantines. It's Crackety here! And on the east side of the map in the color purple, also playing as the Byzantines, it's Beastie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dry Arabia. Now, normally I would get upset at anybody who plays the Byzantines and doesn't pick purple. This is the color that you have to pick when you're playing the civilization. However, in the event that there are two Byzantine teams in the same game, well, only one of you can have purple. And that means the Crackety has to take green. And we'll allow it. We'll allow it. It's one of those things where, well, you just got to. Now, I'm very excited to be able to cast this game because, as I mentioned before, this is the first Byzantine mirror that we're going to be covering on the channel. Now, the difference between these two players is very small. At the top level, Beastie currently sitting at around rank 2. If he wanted to be rank 1, he could. It'd just be about grinding it out, though, because realistically, the difference between rank 1, rank 3, rank 4 is absolutely negligible. Crackety, I'd say, is probably a step down the ladder from Beastie. Still an incredibly good player. I'm talking top 15, top 20. But there's a noticeable difference when it comes to the skill between Crackety and Beastie, so we'll keep that in mind. And then if you were to step it down from, say, Crackety down to me, keep in mind I'm a Conqueror 3 player, I'm relatively good, there'd probably be about 2 or 3 steps between me and Crackety. That's how far away Beastie is at the top of the ladder with the rest of the guys. It is just an absolutely different ball game up there. And I want to see if we can spot any differences out between these two players and work out what they're doing differently that we might be able to take and bring into our own games and help us climb that ladder a little bit harder. So let's check in with our opening builds. We can already see some differences of opinions with regard to the age up timings. 215 is normally your goal for age up. Beastie's going to be gathering up 4 vills on gold. Moves quite a lot of villagers on gold early. And we do see it's going to be the Grand Winery that he looks to go for in this early stage of the game. On the west side of the map, Crackety still has a little bit of a delay, and it's going to be a different landmark. It's going to be the Imperial Hippodrome, and I love this. Already, I love this so much because it goes to show that the devs have done a wonderful job in balancing these landmarks. Now, everyone's got their opinions about what they think is good or what they think is bad. For me, you guys know, I think the Imperial Hippodrome is wonderful. I think the Grand Winery, it's a jack of all trades, master of none. It gives you bonuses throughout the game, but none of them is overwhelming in its power. And because of that, I'm a big fan of the Hippodrome because you've got access to that triumph ability, but other people might sell it to you differently. So already we get to see differences between it. I remember early on with the with casting French mirrors, because we used to see so many French mirrors in Age of Empires 4 back in the early days. Whew, that was fun, wasn't it? School of Cavalry every single day. Wheelbarrow every single day. It was the exact same build order from both sides, but who knows? Maybe Byzantine mirrors get to that point. We've just got to wait until we get there. You know, as I mentioned, we're still early on in this game, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly how it unfolds. But Beastie already looking for something to do with stone. It could be systems. It could be a second town center. We don't know yet at this stage. He's already risen past that 100 stone threshold that is required for that next system. Could be looking to place down a town center. Oh, excuse me, a town center. In fact, the 2 villages on the landmark indicates to me it probably is going to be a town center. Normally, if you're going for a little bit more of a, one base style, you'll prioritize aging up. Here, Beastie's not concerned with aging up because his main goal is going to be getting that town center up as soon as he's aged up. We can already see a little bit of a stray away from that. He's moved villagers off wood and over onto gold. So maybe the plan has changed here, or maybe his build order is just something I'm not yet familiar with. But the age ups come through on the other side. Crackety now looking to pick up stone himself. Already up to 72 stone. Keep in mind that as you complete buildings, as the Byzantines, you will gain stone passively. So depending on the footprint size of the building, depends on how much stone you're going to get. As an example, when you complete a mining camp, a house, a mill, a lumber camp, you're going to get 8 stone. There you go, 8 stone. That comes in for free. They give that to you off the top for free. Whereas if it's something larger like a town center, it's going to be 32 stone. So it is a nice little difference there. Feudal Age comes through for Beastie though, a little bit before that 4-minute 45 mark. And it's going to be an early barracks. Now, Beastie going for the barracks because he's spotted out the Hippodrome. We can already see we've got the unique upgrade, Exploratores, coming in, which is going to increase that damage against workers for any of those horseman units on the map. So Beastie needs to be careful about his positioning with his villagers, and you can see those villagers coming in off stone already. He's got enough to go into that second town center and to throw down a cistern. Boy, oh boy, this guy is absolutely ready for the booming to begin. Second cistern now thrown down, aqueduct in between it. Still got enough afterwards to throw down the second TC. He's going to need the wood to get there. Now keep in mind, he's also got access to this Lametanai, which is coming out of the barracks at the moment. The scout working down slowly the Grand Winery. Now, the normal thing that you see, or at least I theorize that you should see, is that the second TC should go close to the Grand Winery, because you want to try and secure. So I'd be thinking somewhere out here. That makes the most sense to me. You've got a stone out here. That's not that important, but I'd probably go like right here, maybe two to four tiles away from the Grand Winery, just so that you can get that farming economy going around the Grand Winery. So I'm curious to see where Beastie looks to place it. Normally, he's a little bit more, I'd say, like, oriented towards the deer. He's a big fan of putting his town centers on the deer. The alternative is also that he goes onto the gold vein. So let's look to see where he places down this TC. Because for me, I'm thinking Byzantines, I'm thinking compact. I want it all tight and nice together. Does have the resources for it. A little bit of a wall comes up towards that top side. So to me, this is kind of pointing maybe towards the gold, maybe towards the berries. Which direction does he go, though? His opponent surely knows at this point in the game that it's going to be a second TC. When you've taken that much stone off the top, there is no way it's going to be anything but it. Barracks still training the Lametanai at this point in time. Beastie just still hovering around that. We can see him scouting out here, spotting out the enemy archers on the way as well. It feels like a very French opening right now that the Byzantines from Crackety is playing compared to his opponent, which is almost feeling... It's hard to describe this kind of opening. He's got all the resources he needs for the town center. He just doesn't want to commit to it at this stage. And it makes sense, right? You'd be very fearful about doing it. You don't know really what you're up against here. There's going to be cavalry on the field. You've already spotted the archers. Is that going to be the first one? These are decisions that are going through his head right now, or thoughts that are going through his head. He's still not 100% yet. So he could even look for a TC somewhere up here. But once again, it kind of feels like a waste. It definitely feels like the best spot is going to be somewhere down here or somewhere over towards this gold. But now, more units on that south side. Going to be looking to siege down this house. It doesn't have the border settlements upgrade just yet. Not that it really would change too much on the dynamics here. Speaking of border settlements, it's coming through for his opponent, Crackety, at this point. We'll have a look and see how Crackety responds to the Lametanai as they begin to come down. We're right on board with him. And unfortunately, he's not paying attention. Lametanai going to get some good hits off. They do pull back, but take a look at these border settlements. Let's see if I can find a house. Where are they? There they are. Didn't get a very good look at them, unfortunately. He didn't build them on the edge of his base like we normally see. But have a look at this beautiful surround coming through from Crackety. It feels like he's setting up a blockade or something right now. He's got units on every single side of the base. And oh my god, offensive houses? Are you serious? He's looking to bring a villager up to start placing down houses offensively? Is that what we're really seeing right now against Beastie? Of all people, he goes against one of the best in the world and he says, hey, I'll use my special house strategy against you. I'm not even scared. Horseman numbers a little bit lacking towards this top side. It ends up on horsemen getting on top of the archers as a result. You can see Beastie's going to be able to chase away the enemy units very, very happily. The Lametanai, even if they do end up getting opened on by the archers, they'll just be able to use that shield wall ability, and they will be absolutely fine. And now that house comes in. Have a look at the line of sight on this bad boy. 3, 2, 1. Boom. It's like an outpost. It is incredible getting to watch these things be built. And remember that you also reduce the time it takes to build these houses when you research that unique upgrade border settlement. Increases the line of sight of the house by 7 tiles. And now we start to see some sneaky more houses against Beastie. I can't believe you'd be so sneaky against Beastie. There's that second TC. We talked about it. We theorized where he could go with it. He had a couple of options. Does he go gold? Does he go deer? Does he go over onto the Grand Winery? It looks like he's just going to keep the Grand Winery over here nice and safe. He's got that elevated level of olive oil now being picked up. Remember, he's not going to have any olive oil when it comes to the deer. There is no generation of olive oil on those deer. But he does have berries that are nearby, and he's going to continue to wall up. And I love the way that he's slowly walling out with his base, just getting further and further out. You know, the initial wall came in, it said, you're not allowed to come behind my base. I will allow you to go to the north, and you can go to the south, but I'm not going to allow you to come through. And that really prevents the army from coming through, and the cohesive nature of Crackety's army is really ruined when he does that. And now all of a sudden a second wall means that he's going to be able to guarantee these berry patches up towards the north, which is definitely going to make him feel a little bit more solid with regard to that food economy, because early on in these games we're always fighting over food. It's about securing food, making sure you've got the food. Speaking of food, you start to see additional upgrades coming through for Crackety. He's looking to pick up his survival techniques. a unique, I was going to say unique upgrade. It's not a unique upgrade at all. Everyone gets this upgrade. It is an upgrade that is going to boost up your gathering rate of hunted boar, hunted deer, shortfish, I think as well, probably. I'm guessing on that one, but it probably makes sense. But we now start to see Triumph coming through. He's going to have that nice heal for quite some time. And slowly and steadily, he looks to siege down this Grand Winery. It's going to take time for him to get there. But we did see he also looked to utilize the unique ability, which was trapezoids, something like that. We got is that a second Triumph? Oh, there's two abilities there. What's the go with that? Periodically adding charges. Oh, right, of course. Never mind. I'm a little bit silly. Anyway, Crackety going for a one base style, and we see that he's this is really a similar style that I like to play when it comes to the Byzantines, right? Like the one base, opening with the Hippodrome. You want to transition into farms eventually, but even I feel like this is kind of a bit early, to be honest. But even then, right? Like you're going into the systems and you're going quite heavy on them. And I definitely think he's done the right thing in only going up to a level 4 aqueduct network. I feel like going for that 5th one just doesn't, it's not really worth it. I was doing the math on it, right? For your Golden Horn Tower, it goes from being worth 11 villages at a level 4 to 12 villages at a level 5. And yet you're paying 300 stone, if I remember correctly. Let me double check that so I'm not telling porkies. 250 stone. You're paying 250 stone for that last level on that system. And that's an expensive one villager. And sure, you get 5% across the network into your villager gather rate. And sure, you get that extra bonus military production rate. But you know, the difference between 80% and 100% military production isn't that big, at least not big enough to justify spending that many resources on. So I think this is definitely a nice little middle ground that he's picked up. But now Beastie going to be looking to pick up a couple of kills on the other side of the map here. We're right on board with him as he looks to take out a couple of reinforcing archers, not at all focused on the villagers. What are these villagers? Oh, the villagers have got their militiamen upgrade, the Akritoi defenses. A little bit more attack, a little bit more armor, and look at them turn around. He says, Beastie, you asked for a fight with the beast? You got it, baby. Turns around and just absolutely looks to Shrek those units. Unfortunately for him, units are a little bit too fast. They do manage to survive, but keep in mind he doesn't have access to Triumph. Because he did go for the Grand Winery here instead of going for the Imperial Hippodrome, it means these units are going to remain on this low health and going to face Crackety here's full health cavalry units if Crackety's paying attention, but it looks like he's not. They get through unscathed and sit there quietly until they're welcomed back to their base. Let's check in with Beastie and see how he's doing. He's been on 2 TCs. The economy started to build here. He's up at 5 villager advantage at the moment. He's managed to secure food in the north. He's having himself a good time. No farm transition just yet, which is absolutely fine for him. System network not looking the best. He's only sitting at the moment on 2 systems. The aqueduct has remained pretty small. And look at that. I love the way that the farms can be planted in the middle of the aqueduct. This is just, it's so nice. So, so lovely. But now, towards the south, it looks like that outpost is going to be providing decent vision. Beastie not paying attention. It looks like he could lose a couple of villagers down here. The Expilatores has got that extra damage against those villagers. He could look to try and pop the Akritoi defenses, but unfortunately not going to be able to do it. Gets a couple of worker kills there. He'll be very happy with that, Crackety will. And now looks towards Castle Age. He starts stacking up resources. We're 13 minutes and 37 seconds through this game. You know that is an elite time to be switching the income over from the villagers. But nice little raid attempt. Beastie doing a wonderful job at defending, and now he's starting to build up with those horseman numbers as well. So both of these players looking to play a heavy cavalry style game, and you can see that on the response side from Crackety, he's up to 17 archers now. So really not looking to lead with cavalry, just rather start out with it and then transition into that infantry based composition, which makes me think he hasn't gone for, has he gone for mercenaries just yet? Where are the mercenaries at? Has Crackety not gone into mercenaries? He hasn't. Yeah, there you go. Not gone into mercenaries yet, which is interesting, because that's obviously a pretty important playstyle or part of the Byzantine opening. But where did those resources go? Has he dropped down the landmark? He was stacking up a whole bunch of food right here. No, he's just gone. He's playing it into feudal. He wants to stick around in feudal. Okay, fair enough. Let the man cook. Let's see what he's got. And now plenty of farms coming up here for Beastie. Remember that you're going to get stone every single time you drop these farms down. So he's going to be able to power or empower this farm transition with a little bit of it, the aqueduct network. Jeez, aqueduct. I got to make sure I emphasize the letters in those words. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with a whole bunch of babble. I got babies, but I tell you what, they're starting to speak now. At least the older one is. He's starting to get some real good vernacular going. He's got a couple of words already that he likes to say. He says snake. That's one of the words he says because he watches Miss Rachel, and she's got this recent video where they've got a snake on there, and we say, what's that? He says snake. I was like, yeah, man, that's a snake. You're 100% right. What else does he say? He's got some other... He loves animals, though. He loves animals. And, you know, if you want to love the snake... isn't there something in the human biology that, like, makes us just despise snakes? I don't know, but I remember reading something about it where it's like we just have this... it might be one of those Darwinian things, right? That's just evolved over time. It's like, if you see a snake, you should immediately just be like, I don't like that. And just avoid it, go nowhere near it, but who knows? Maybe he's not affectionate towards it. But speaking of affection, Crackety is looking to get affectionate with Beastie. Have a look at this. We've got ourselves some Chaerusophons coming out in the feudal age. 15 minutes into this game, he's picked up the majority of his armor upgrades here. And we can see that it is going to be a pretty powerful feudal play. Beastie's got a decent villager advantage at this point, up 12 villagers, but keep in mind Crackety's got that level 5 cistern. It has come online, kept it nice and close, pocketed towards the base. We didn't get to see him I would have loved to have seen him expand it down here, you know, like an extra 25%, like chef's kiss, my friend, chef's kiss. Beastie up to level 3 though. He's managed to bring it out up towards this north side. Didn't manage to cover this this northern berry patch, so I think players have still got a while to learn exactly how to best place this, but he will be able to utilize the Presidium bonus. That's going to be on the condition that he's still got it. Spearman numbers looking, or rather Lametanite numbers looking really good here. And keep in mind, this unit is going to be incredibly dominant when it comes to these mirror matchups. Just simply because, when you think about it, Lametanite counter cavalry. So you don't want, if you're making lots of Lametanite, your enemy doesn't want to make cavalry. They want to make archers. The problem is that the Lametanite have a bonus amount of damage reduction against archers, which makes them very, very potent. But look at this, Beastie now looking for the longbows. He's cut his opponent off from that cistern, not going to be able to utilize the Presidium. Villagers inside the town center. He says, let's even up that villager count. You're on slightly more than me. How's it going to be now? Working down the cistern. There she goes. 150 stone goes the way of the dodo. Archers now going to be up against the longbows, and this might be where the difference in this matchup shows. It could be in the longbows. He's got to be careful. He's got to be careful. It looks like he may have overcommitted a little bit there. We head into the cinematic mode as Beastie goes up against Crackety here on the north side. They're going to begin to do the little bit of a tangle. Nice little micro coming in through from Crackety. Lametanite numbers looking solid. He's going to be able to repel this for the most part. We can see that they're chasing their way through. Horsemen once again down to this bottom side. As long as the archers are able to cook and do their magic on that backside, he's going to be fine. The problem's going to be these longbows. Look at them just teeing off, getting really good value here. Beastie doing a wonderful job. I think he's got enough here that even if your Lametanite have got that bonus shield wall up, they're not going to care. They're not going to give two rats. They're just going to focus them down and work that number out. And you can see that he's doing a wonderful job just picking them off. And look how little damage the Lametanite are taking. They're taking a full volley and a half. Look at that, 2 volleys on that Lametanite before it goes down. These Lametanite have got so much damn health together with that damage reduction. And now, having taken out the second town center, Crackety says, well, you know what? It's a victory for me. I'll be happy with that one. And I tell you what, I'd be pretty happy with it as well. That definitely looks solid. He got plenty of villagers, but Beastie still holds a 7-villager lead. If we were going to give an advantage to either of them, let's quickly check in with the system network together with the farm transition. Oh, we got a castle age coming through here. Crackety thinking about the same thing as well. Golden Horn Towers coming up for both of these guys. It is indeed... Oh, that's... I'm probably going to have to give it to Beast. Oh, it's close. It's close. Golden Horn Tower now in the north. I'm really respecting this, the transition that Beastie's already made for the olive groves. This is quite significant and should not be underestimated. It allows Beastie to stay in his base. It allows him to do exactly what he's doing right now. Wall up, play defensive, and then take the fights that he wants to take. It means that if his opponent is not in a good position, he can force that fight. He's not able to buy time. Whereas Beastie's got all the time in the world because of those walls. He can just sit there behind the walls with the longbows, and now he's adding in those 4th and 5th cisterns. It looks like, never mind, it's going to be the 3rd and 4th cisterns being added in here. Could be opting for that 5th cistern rebuild to the north. He's got plenty of stone in the bank. And the age up comes through. Golden Towers within seconds of each other for both of these players. Beastie with 69 villagers, Crackety 62. The main difference here is going to be those villagers out on the map. And this is where it comes in. This is where it starts to really matter. Because now all of a sudden, if we take a look at Crackety, he's got 7 villagers on food. These villagers are the villagers that are on farms. All the other villagers are going to be awkwardly positioned around the map, running around saying, oh, there's horsemen here. I've got to wait for the Lamentinai to come. Or, you know, the Lamentinai just abandoning them. And now all of a sudden, Crackety's got no food income whatsoever. This is the difference that I was talking about. The difference that is key here in this matchup might just be that Beastie transitioned slightly earlier onto farms, and that's as a result of that second TC. When you go for the second TC, you have to play defensive, and when you're playing defensive, you're going to have less food to access, which means you're going to have to focus farms earlier, and that's exactly what he's looked to do here. Makes a lot of sense now, and Beastie throwing down barracks towards the front side. Could be thinking of playing Varangian guards. He's got options like cataphracts as well. Could look to take advantage of those unique units. And now Beastie heading back towards his base. We'll check in with Crackety and see how he's doing. A little bit of farms being added in, and now towards that front side of the base. The longbow numbers looking really good here. If I'm playing as Crackety right now, all I'm doing is I'm thinking about these longbows and I'm going, it's time. Mangonels, baby. I need mangonels right here. You can't deal with these longbows in any other way. I don't think it's possible unless you really want to go into a big cataphract mass, but then you're playing up against your enemy's Lamentinai, which means that they're incentivized to make that unit because it's unique, because it's very, very strong. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do genuinely see players from the Byzantines just looking to maximize efficiency of this unit. And Beastie losing out a huge amount of villagers here as he looked to try and get the rewall in. Perfect timing from Crackety here, spotting it out wonderfully. There goes a Monk as well. Throw that one in. I'll give that one to you for free, but now looks like he's taking a little bit of a bad fight here. Not the best decision from Crackety to be taking this. There's so many longbows behind this that are just setting up and teeing off. He's got the +2 ranged attack upgrade. The veterans, he's obviously come through. He's having a field day, and now the difference between the Byzantines might just be their support of the English versus their support of, well, where is Crackety's support? It looks like, can we have a look? Where is he at? Military. So there it is, military house. He's going for longbows as well. I can't help but feel like this might just be JoJo's 2004 hit single all over again. You know it's just a little too late. It could just be too little too late at this point. The longbows have been impactful. I'll say that much. They've definitely been noticeable, but we got to talk about this right here. The Akratoid defenses is really solid. Villagers just picking up this extra armor. Look at this, +3, +4 armor. Extra 2 damage on them as well. They're happy to fight. Come on, you want to fight? Let's do it. I'll show you my stabbing stick. And indeed, they do. And it's longer than what they said it was. They were quoting 10 inches. Much longer than that. Anyway. The numbers starting to build here for Crackety, but have a look at the difference. This all comes down to those farms. Beastie playing a very solid defensive style. And I gotta be honest, I like this style a lot from Beastie. I played, as you guys know, I'm a Byzantine, mate. And one of the issues I've found trouble with is the matchup against the Ayyubids. Just simply because they open with their Desert Raider, and it does very well at countering cavalry. So I found that in that matchup, it's almost certain that you want to go for the Grand Winery, just so you can take advantage of longbows. And you want to play Lamentinai longbow. And we see that's exactly what Beastie's doing in this matchup right here, playing into a healthy amount of longbows. In fact, up to 37 longbows. That is a ludicrous amount of longbows to have. How does he afford all of this? Has he just been taking all the berries off the map? That's got to be it, right? I can't think of any other way. I guess he's had a pretty decent farm setup as well. You know what? It's probably just that. He's just had a decent amount of farms for a long time. He's been able to play into longbows for quite a bit here, and it really feels like he is role-playing as the English. And now up towards that north, Beastie, he's going to spot out these units up here. Now, keep in mind, Crackety had a fair few houses built around the base of Beastie, but those have all been torn down. Mangonel emplacement coming through here. Crackety looking to defend. Let's take a look and see where it's going to be. It's going to be towards the front of the base. Definitely the right call here. I'm a big fan of this emplacement, but look at this. Crackety gets caught out of position. Beastie knows he's up here. This could be game right now. If you take out this army, this is a significant portion of his military. You're talking about 30 units that are all about to go the way of the dodo. And keep in mind, this is a big army from Beastie. If he makes a connection with this, it is going to be lights out for Crackety. There is no coming back from this. Together with the fact Beastie was on 2 TCs for quite some time, he's managed to rebuild as well. Keep that in mind. This is going to be very difficult for Crackety. He's going to try his best, though. Microing into the corner, kiting away. A wolf gets involved. A couple of Keshiks going to try and tee off, but unfortunately, not a whole lot of luck down the fairway, it seems, as they hit their balls directly into the bunker. Oh, that was not pretty at all. Longbow's just having a field day. And now towards the back of the base, a single cataphract is able to ruin the day of Crackety here, back here. He's trying his best to hold on. On the south side, Varangian guards now beginning to do their work on those houses that are out on this map. You can see that he's got that line of sight, but all of the units in that northern position have been lost out here. And now Beastie runs it down mid. 113 military units versus 36. It is not going to be pretty. Beastie really looking solid in this game and demonstrating the power of the two town center matchup, or two town centers in this matchup. I love the fact that he really took his time with it, delayed it, so that there was a part of Crackety that was thinking, where's that second TC? Why hasn't he gone for that second TC? And it wasn't until it was safe to put down that he went and took it. But now Varangian Guard's going to be moving out here. Looks like plenty of units coming in from Crackety, but remember, this is not even half of Beastie's army here. They turn around. Longbows coming through from that stealth forest. And Beastie looking to try and take out Crackety in this fight. You can see the numbers are really looking good. This, you know, we've talked about the New English a number of times. We've said it's Juicy's legacy because they can sit in their base. Now it could be, is it the Byzantines that it could be, where you just literally have longbows. You're a longbow enjoyer. Is this the New English? Well, we'll have to wait and see, because I tell you what, the way that Beastie's playing it definitely makes me think it could be the new and improved English. Not only do they have the longbow, but they've got a second unique unit that complements them perfectly, the Lametanai. And good game gets called, fellas. Make sure you check out these two creators. I'll leave a link in the description of Beastie. I'll leave a link to Crackety as well, so you can check him out over on Twitch. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you go and purchase the Sultan's Ascent expansion. It is absolutely amazing. I'm loving it. You'll love it as well.